Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
J. Edgar Hoover called it the finest program on radio. This is your FBI, as it was originally broadcast 70 years ago today, August 1st, 1952, The Death Cruise. And I can tell you that this is one that Jed Peeler will dearly love. Thank you for joining us on this Monday. This is the first day of August, 213th day of the year. We have 152 days remaining. The first U.S. Census completed on this date in 1790. It showed a population of 3,929,214 people in the U.S. Happy birthday, Colorado. You became the 38th state of the Union on this date in 1876. Adolf Hitler presided over the opening of the Berlin Olympics in 1936. The first Jeep produced on this date in 1941. Anne Frank making the last entry on her diary in 1944. In 1946, President Truman signed the congressional acts that established the Atomic Energy Commission and the Fulbright Scholarship Program. Charles Whitman killed 15 people shooting from the main building at the University of Texas at Austin on this date in 1966 before being killed by police.
He had a 6.1 sport rifle with a scope. He had a 35 Remington. He had a 30 caliber carbine. He had a 12-gauge sawed-off shotgun and a 357 Magnum pistol. He was loaded for bear.
Austin Police Chief R.A. Miles. President Ford spoke before Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev and other European leaders on this date in 1975 at the controversial Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe.
Peace is not a piece of paper, but lasting peace is at least possible today because we have learned from the experiences of the last 30 years that peace is a process requiring mutual restraint and practical arrangement. This conference is a part of that process. A challenge, not a conclusion.
President Ford spoke forcefully of the deep devotion of the American people and their government to human rights and fundamental freedoms. MTV made its debut at midnight on this date in 1981. The first video shown was Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, though some thought the channel was not appropriate. This fan loved the idea.
MTV is just a video. They're just videos with music. And you have to understand the videos. The videos are made to help you understand the music, and that's all it is. It's not a corrupting influence, I don't feel at all.
7 years later on this date, 1988, Rush Limbaugh syndicated nationally in the U.S. as a 2-hour radio show. The show would eventually expand to 3 hours and be one of the leading talk shows until Limbaugh died of cancer. Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley confirmed on this date in 1994 the rumors that they had been married 11 weeks earlier. Baseball great Mickey Mantle spoke for the last time to reporters on this date in 1995, telling them that following a liver transplant, cancer had spread from his liver to his lung.
I would like to say to the kids out there to take you talk about a role model. This is a role model. Don't be like me, you know. I mean, God gave me a body, ability to play baseball, and that's what I wanted to do. Give me everything.
Mantle would die 2 weeks later at the age of 63. Alabama Supreme Court Chief Justice Roy Moore had a 2.5-ton Ten Commandments monument installed in the rotunda of the Judiciary Building in 2001, leading to a lawsuit to have it removed and his own removal from office. Some critics of the removal of the monument said with tongue-in-cheek that it was felt to make an unsafe work environment for lawyers. and it was in 2007. The I-35W Mississippi River Bridge spanning the Mississippi River in Minneapolis collapsed during the evening rush hour. Among those passing away on this date in history, frontierswoman Calamity Jane, singer Johnny Burnett, actor Strother Martin, writer Patty Chayefsky, the singer of You're My World, Cilla Black, Wilford Brimley, and 8-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and somebody whom I to this day would have called, up until the date of his death, the toughest son of a gun in the world, not just in pro wrestling, in the world, Harley Race. This is the birthday of Francis Scott Key, also Moby Dick writer Herman Melville, the very, very funny actor-comedian Dom DeLuise, and the Grateful Dead's Jerry Garcia. From The Sopranos, the former entertainment director of the Riviera Hotel, where I spent some time in the entertainment department, Steve Sharippa, 65. Gangster's Paradise, rapper Coolio, 59. Pro wrestler Devon Dudley, 50 years old today. Vanessa from The Cosby Show, Tempest Bledsoe, is 49. Mr. Lisa Bonet from Game of Thrones and Aquaman, Jason Momoa, 43. And from Desperate Housewives and MTV's Teen Wolf, Max Carver is 34. Those some of the people celebrating the first day of August as their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday...
Hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you!
Stacey Harris starring as Special Agent Jim Taylor in an episode of This Is Your FBI from 70 years ago today, August 1st, 1952, The Death Cruise. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 70 years to August 1st, 1952. This is your FBI, the story, The Death Cruise.
The Equitable Life Assurance Society presents This Is Your FBI. This is Your FBI, the official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Presented transcribed as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community. Tonight, the subject of our FBI file, homicide. Its title, The Death Cruise.
It is the proud record of your FBI that 97% of those the Bureau apprehends and takes to court are later found guilty and sentenced. That record indicates a thoroughness and a basic respect for detail in every investigation, because it often happens that the only testimony for the prosecution is given by special agents of your FBI. After conviction, the file on that case is marked closed. Those files are records of jobs well done, records of which the Bureau is justifiably proud. For that reason, it is understandable that your FBI does not like to reopen a file that has been marked closed, does not like to have to do its job all over again. That does not happen very often, but as you will see in tonight's case, it does happen. Tonight's FBI file opens on the mouth of a river located in one of our eastern seaboard states. A cabin cruiser courses slowly down this stream. Rounding a bend, it noses into a weather-worn dock. Its pilot, a young man in his middle 20s, ties the boat to a stanchion and walks down the dock to a dilapidated waterfront hotel. He opens the sun-warped screen door and enters the lobby.
Hello? Anyone here?
Just a minute. Well?
Hello.
What do you want?
You in charge here?
Yes, why?
I'm looking for information.
What about?
One of the boats that's tied to the dock out there.
Which one?
Seamaid's second. Who owns it, you know?
No.
Yeah, isn't that dock connected with your hotel?
No, everybody uses it.
Oh.
Well, look, mister, if you just came here to ask questions, I haven't got the time.
Oh, wait, please.
Well, what is it?
The Seamaid passed me an hour or so ago upstream. I thought I recognized its pilot. Did you see the boat tie up?
No, I didn't.
Well, perhaps you know this man. He's about my size. Blonde hair, mustache. His name is Sanderson.
I never heard of him.
But if he uses this dock, you...
Well, I told you anybody can use it.
Well, he couldn't have docked more than 10 or 15 minutes ago. Where could he have gone from here, do you know?
Oh, to town, maybe.
What town?
Fairport, Clear Falls, Cedar Point, they're all near here.
I see. I guess I'll just have to wait for him.
Sometimes people leave their boats here for days.
I'll wait.
Who's there?
Alice.
What is it? What do you want?
Well, I've got to see you.
All right, come in. I told you, Alice, that I wanted to take a nap.
I know.
Well, why do you disturb me?
Well, a man was here looking for you.
Who was he?
I don't know.
What did he want?
He didn't say.
Did he ask for me by name?
Yes. He said you passed him in your boat upstream. He thought he recognized you and followed you down here.
Where is he now?
He left. He returned to his boat.
What did you tell him?
That I didn't know who you were or where you'd gone.
I see.
But he's going to wait for you anyway.
This is bad.
Well, I tried my best to get rid of him, John.
Raise the window shade.
Sure.
Just a trifle.
How's that?
Fine. Now, which one is his boat?
Well, it's at the very end of the dock there, you see?
Yes.
He must be below.
Where's your husband?
He went into town.
As soon as he returns, send him up here.
Hello, aboard there.
Yes? Someone hailing me?
Yep.
What do you want?
Are you the owner of this boat?
Yeah.
Let's see your license.
Boat license?
Nope. License for using this dock.
Oh, I didn't know one was necessary.
It's a town ordinance.
Who are you?
Deputy Sheriff.
I see. Well, look, could I arrange to get a license from you?
Nope. Got to get one in town.
Are they open this time of night?
Nope.
Well, what do I do?
Leave the dock.
I couldn't do that.
Look, mister, that's an order.
Sheriff, I might as well tell you why I'm here.
All I'm interested in is a license.
Listen, that boat right over there, the Seamaid Second, I followed it down the river this afternoon. There was a man aboard it I think I recognized.
Huh?
I know that government agents would be very anxious to apprehend him if he's the man I think he is.
Are you a government agent?
No.
Any kind of policeman?
No.
And why are you so interested?
I was in Army intelligence during the war.
Buddy, the war is all over.
Yes, but...
Look, which boat are you talking about?
That one down there, with the black hull.
Her name ain't Seamaid Second.
Yes, it is.
That's the Ebony Queen.
I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Come on, have a look for yourself.
Very well.
I'll prove to you that's the Ebony Queen. Owned by a man named Smith who lives at Cedar Point. He ain't been in no trouble with the government ever.
This Smith about my size? Blonde hair, mustache?
No, sir. He's short, fat, and bald.
Well, would anyone else be using his boat?
Nope. Well, what does that say there?
Ebony Queen.
Yep.
I don't understand. That's the boat I followed.
Look, mister, your story just don't make no sense. You go on back to your boat, cast off your lines, and pull out of here.
No, sorry, Sheriff. I'm staying.
Some 50 miles away in an FBI field office, Special Agent Jim Taylor is just approaching the desk of the agent in charge.
Mr. McComb?
Yes, Jim.
Could I see you for a minute, sir?
Well, surely. What's on your mind?
I received a phone call late this afternoon from a friend of mine named Ed Bartlett.
Yeah?
Ed was in Army intelligence during the war. We worked together on a number of cases involving enemy aliens. That was when I was with the New York office.
I see.
One of the men we picked up at the beginning of the war was a Nazi named John Sanderson. He'd been engaged in subversive activity. He was convicted on several counts and sent to a federal prison.
I remember hearing about him.
Well, you may also recall, sir, that Sanderson was released at the end of the war and deported to Germany.
Yes, I do. But what's this got to do with your friend's phone call?
Well, Ed's been out on his boat on a fishing trip for the past week. This afternoon, a small pleasure cruiser passed him. Ed was almost certain the man at the wheel was John Sanderson.
What?
Yeah, he said he followed the boat to a dock down near Cedar Point. No one was aboard her, so he inquired at a nearby hotel as to where the man had gone. He couldn't learn anything there.
Well, Jim, this sounds more like a case of mistaken identity.
Well, I thought so myself at first, sir, but Ed insisted he had the right man. Knowing him, I'm inclined to believe him.
Well, we have a file on Sanderson here. Check it. It's possible we're both mistaken. Maybe he wasn't deported.
Sir, I've already checked. He was sent out of the country over 5 years ago.
I see. Where's your friend now?
He's standing by down there, waiting for the man to return.
Has he contacted the local police?
Well, I advised him to. I'm not so sure that he will. Mr. McComb.
Yeah?
I wonder if you'd give me permission to go down there. If this is a false lead, I'll be back by tomorrow night.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yes?
It's me, Henry.
Come in. What happened?
Weren't you watching from the window?
It was too dark to see, but I didn't hear his boat pull away.
He ain't going.
Why not?
He just said he was going to wait until you came back.
Did you impersonate a deputy sheriff?
Yep.
Well, didn't you threaten to arrest him?
Yep. He just said go ahead.
Well, what about the boat? Did you repaint the name?
Mm-hmm. But he's still going to stay.
What did you find out about him?
He said he was an Army intelligence during the war.
Oh.
Also said the government agents would be very happy to grab you.
He's really going to be difficult to get rid of.
Yeah.
Where's Alice?
Downstairs.
Bring her up here.
Can you see all right, mister?
Yeah, I'll just lead the way. When did this man come to your hotel?
About 20 minutes ago. He took a room for the night.
His name is Sanderson, huh?
That's right. And he's got blonde hair and a mustache, just like the fellow that you were looking for. That's why I came right down to your boat to get you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Oh, here's the back door. You can go in this way.
Right.
Now, his room is right at the head of these stairs.
Thanks.
Oh, wait.
Yeah?
Well, I just happened to think, now, there ain't going to be any trouble between you two, is there?
Well, to tell you the truth, there might be.
Oh, well, then I'd better get the sheriff. He's right out front in the lobby.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Bring him up to the room.
Okay.
Come in. Yes?
Hello, Mr. Sanderson.
Hello?
You remember me?
Yes, of course. You're the young man who was in Army intelligence.
That's right.
What brings you here?
Your boat passed mine on the river today. I recognized you.
So?
You were deported from this country about 5 years ago, weren't you, Sanderson?
That's right.
Then how did you get back here?
Illegally.
Well, you admit that, huh?
Yes.
I'm going to have to see to it that you're deported again.
Really? How?
By turning you over to the FBI?
Have you the authority to make an arrest?
No.
Then how are you going to do it?
Well, this should be your answer. Come in.
Here's the sheriff.
Good. Come in, Sheriff.
Okay. You, wanted to see me?
Yes, Sheriff. This is the man I was looking for.
Well?
He's in this country illegally. He should be arrested and turned over to the FBI.
Did you hear that, Sheriff?
Yep.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Well, now, let me see.
You should obey the man, you know.
You think so?
Of course.
What is this?
Show him, Henry.
Okay.
Nice work, Sheriff.
J. Edgar Hoover called the show the finest dramatic program on the air. Producer-director Jerry Devine given access to FBI files by Hoover. The resultant dramatized FBI cases came out very well. It was on ABC from 1945 to 1953. This is your FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medi-Share for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medi-Share's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medi-Share is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Thanks for tuning in on this Monday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We're listening to an episode of This Is Your FBI, as it was originally broadcast on Friday, August 1st, 1952. In the newspapers of that Friday, 70 years ago today, these were some of the headlines. The Atomic Energy Commission disclosed yesterday it's tapping major new resources of uranium. The announcement apparently means sharp gains for the U.S. in the atomic race with Russia, since the precious fissionable metal is the key to the whole enterprise. The commission told Congress an agreement has been reached with Australia to supply the vital ore to the U.S. Byproduct uranium from South African goldfields soon will be coming for American use. And Canada, long a major uranium supplier for Uncle Sam, has put in additional milling facilities into operation at the El Dorado mine on Great Bear Lake, and home production is speeding up. Meanwhile, the Atomic Energy Commission made a deal yesterday for development of an atomic power plant for large naval vessels such as aircraft carriers. The AEC said the job of trying to perfect a nuclear power plant for ongoing giants has been assigned to the Westinghouse Electric Corporation, the same firm which is already building an engine earmarked for installation in the Navy's projected atomic submarine, the USS Nautilus. 2 American helicopters made the first flying windmill crossing of the Atlantic Ocean yesterday and broke the nonstop distance record for this type of aircraft. The 2 big Sikorsky H-19s, loaded down with extra gas and each carrying a pilot and co-pilot, thrashed across the 856 miles of ocean between Iceland and Prestwick, Scotland, the historic making last journey of the flight from Westover Air Force Base in Massachusetts. The government took emergency action yesterday to relieve the effects of a drought which has burned up crops worth millions of dollars in at least a dozen states. Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, and Mississippi declared disaster loan areas by the Agriculture Department as a result of the heat and lack of rain. Kentucky and Tennessee and large parts of Missouri and Arkansas already had been designated as disaster areas. A Washington, D.C. municipal court jury yesterday began hearing testimony on columnist Drew Pearson's charge that he was punched by Attorney General Patrick Clark. The blow allegedly struck in the lobby of the Mayfair Hotel in Washington, June 18th. Defense attorney John J. O'Connor, a former New York representative, said Clark hit Pearson in self-defense. Clark, a Washington attorney whose clients include the Spanish government, said Pearson had attacked him verbally in his column. Senators Long, the Democrat of Louisiana, and Senator Morse, the Republican of Oregon, announced plans yesterday for an inspection of overseas air bases aimed at saving taxpayers millions of dollars. Leaving Washington next Tuesday, they will make an on-the-spot check of the network of U.S. air bases being constructed on the edges of the Iron Curtain. They will make the 25,000-mile tour under authority of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Picket lines set up yesterday, and telephone workers stayed off the job in Chattanooga, Cleveland, Athens, and Copper Hill, Tennessee, after a walkout caused by hot weather. The stoppage began in Chattanooga Tuesday when 100 Southern Bell operators walked off the jobs, protesting the main exchange was too hot to work in. The walkout became a 3-shift affair when the other workers in the same office refused to man the switchboards. On Wednesday night, the union voted to make it an official strike. And the Democrat presidential nominee blames Mark Twain for the confusion that exists and how to pronounce his first name. It's Mr. Stevenson saying, while my grandfather, Adlai E. Stevenson, was vice president under Grover Cleveland, Mark Twain was at a luncheon, and my grandfather was a guest. The newspapers of the time quoted Mark Twain as follows on the pronunciation of my name. Philologists sweat and lexiconists bray, but the best they can do is call him Adlai. But at longshoremen's picnics, where accents are high, fair Harvard's not pleasant, so they call him Adlai. Anyway, Stevenson wrote, Cyril Clements of St. Louis, head of the International Mark Twain Society, the correct pronunciation is Adlai, although to put it mildly, I've been called many things. And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Friday, August 1st, 1952. On your radio, the conclusion of This Is Your FBI from August 1st, 1952. And that's next here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on a Monday. Another episode of the summer series Confession from 69 years ago, August 2nd, 1953, the story of Esther Phillips. We'll hear that on tomorrow's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But now the conclusion of This Is Your FBI, the Death Cruise, from 70 years ago today, August 1st, 1952.
And now back to tonight's FBI file, The Death Cruise.
The desire to see that justice is done is strong in almost every one of us. But sometimes that desire leads to trying to take the law into your own hands. As tonight's case from the files of your FBI illustrates, that is the wrong course of action. In every city, there is a local police force. In every state, there are state troopers. And in every section of the country, there are field offices of your FBI. It is their job to see that laws are enforced, that justice is dealt out fairly. Your job as a citizen is to respect and obey those laws. And when, as will sometimes happen, you know of a crime that has been committed, or a criminal who has gone unpunished, do not assume the responsibility of seeing justice done. Your responsibility ends when you have done your duty, when you have notified your local police. Tonight's file continues at the police station in the town of Cedar Point. Special Agent Jim Taylor has just introduced himself to the Chief of Police.
Sit down, Mr. Taylor. Thanks. Now, what can I do for you? Did a man named Ed Bartlett contact you any time yesterday or this morning?
Bartlett? No, he didn't. Why?
Well, he called me yesterday afternoon. He'd been out on his boat on the river. Thought he recognized a man who had been deported from this country some 5 years ago.
Where was this?
On the river. This man was in another boat, and he trailed him to a dock about 2 miles north of there.
The one near the Ocean View Hotel?
Yeah, that's right. I told him to contact the police. I thought he might have come to you.
He didn't. Have you tried the Fairport police?
Yes, sir, I have.
How about Clear Falls?
No, I hadn't heard from him either.
Have you looked for him?
Yeah, I went down to the dock. I couldn't find any trace of his boat, though.
Maybe the man took off again, and Bartlett followed him.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Did he give you a description of the other boat, the one the suspect was on?
No, he didn't.
Well, I'm afraid.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Chief Jenkins. Yes? Yes. What's that? Where was this? I see. What's the name of the boat? All right. Thanks a lot. I'll be right down there. Mr. Taylor, what does Bartlett look like?
He's about 6 feet tall, dark hair.
Was the name of his boat the Lucky Star?
It sounds like it, yeah.
I'm afraid I have some bad news for you.
What is it?
The body of a man of that general description was just found in a boat named the Lucky Star.
Oh, no.
We can't be sure that it's Bartlett, of course.
Where was this?
About 10 miles downstream. It drifted in the shore.
Well, let's get down there at once.
That you, Henry?
Yeah?
We're here in the back room.
Did you go into the village?
Yep.
Any news of the boat?
Nope.
It'll probably be found sometime this afternoon.
That soon?
I imagine so.
Well, what'll we do?
I'll leave tonight, just as I planned.
Suppose the police should come here.
Why should they?
When they find his body, they could also learn that he had docked here.
My dear sister, we took great pains to make it appear that his death was accidental.
Well, yes,
Look, Alice, stop worrying. Everything is going to be okay.
There's the body right over there, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, I see.
Well?
Yeah, it said Bartlett on it.
Too bad.
I guess we'll have to examine him.
Look at the back of his head.
Yeah, I see.
Say, there's blood on the back of that boat hook there. From the position of the body, he could have very easily slipped and fallen against it.
Yeah, he could have, but I don't think he did. I'd say this is very carefully staged to appear that way.
You think he caught up with the man he was looking for?
If he'd only contacted you, Chief, instead of trying to do the job alone.
Yeah. Well, shall we go below?
Wait, I want to search his pockets first. It's just barely possible he might have left a note of some kind.
Telling you more about this man he was following?
Mm-hmm.
If we just had a description of his boat.
Yeah, I know.
Find anything?
Just this book of matches might be of some help to us, though.
How's that?
Well, they're from the Ocean View Hotel. That's the place by the dock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, then you must have gone in there at some time. You know the people who run it?
Yes, a couple named Fowler.
Well, they might be able to give us some information.
Well, we can... Hold it. What is it?
Some blue paint here on the deck. See it?
Yeah.
It's a very odd shade of blue. It didn't spill here. Looks like it rubbed off or something.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to scrape a few flecks of it off.
You want a knife?
No, I've got one, thanks. Oh, Chief, why don't you go ashore and notify the coroner? I'll finish up here.
Go ahead, Miss Taylor.
Thanks.
Who's that?
Chief of Police Jenkins, Mrs. Fowler.
Oh, hello, Mr. Jenkins.
Hello. This is Mr. Taylor, Mrs. Fowler.
How do you do?
Mrs. Fowler.
Mr. Taylor is a special agent of the FBI.
I see.
You might be able to help him.
How?
Well, yesterday afternoon, a man named Ed Bartlett put his boat into that dock outside there.
Ed Bartlett?
That's right. He's a man about 6 feet tall, dark hair, slightly broken nose. You see him by any chance?
No, sir.
We have reason to believe he came here to your hotel.
Well, I didn't see anybody that looked like him.
Did you see his boat? It was called the Lucky Star.
No, sir.
Oh, here's Mr. Fowler. He might be able to help us. Mr. Fowler?
Oh, hello, Chief.
Hello. This is Mr. Taylor. He's from the FBI.
Oh, yeah?
We're looking for information, Mr. Fowler, about a man named Ed Bartlett who docked his boat outside here yesterday afternoon. It's called the Lucky Star. Did you see it?
No, didn't. Maybe you saw him. He was 6 feet tall, dark hair, slightly broken nose.
Nope. Didn't see him.
All right, Chief, I'm afraid this is a bad lead. We'd better be going. Thanks a lot anyway, folks. Come on, Chief.
Okay.
All right.
Henry? Get upstairs and tell John who was here.
Let's head out here to the end of the dock, Chief.
Okay. Say, don't you think we should have questioned the Fowlers a little more?
I purposely cut that interview short.
Why?
You notice Fowler's trousers?
No, I didn't.
Well, there's a streak of blue paint on the right leg. I'm certain it was the same color paint that I scraped off the deck of Bartlett's boat.
Well,
It reminded me of where I'd seen that paint before. I noticed a can of it yesterday when I came out here onto the dock.
what about?
Well, it's right alongside this boat up here. Shine your flashlight around, will you, Chief?
Sure. Hey, there's a paint can.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Hey, it's that same odd shade of blue.
Yeah?
Now, I wonder if you... Wait a minute. Shine your light again on the stern of the boat there.
Right there?
Yeah, hold it. Look, Chief, the name on that boat's been freshly painted.
Ebony Queen.
Suppose it was called something else before? The name was changed to avoid suspicion?
Could have been.
Well, if it was, then that's Sanderson's boat. This whole paint cycle ties together.
You think Fowler's mixed up in it, too?
Yeah. Look, will you go aboard and search the boat?
Okay.
I'm heading for the nearest phone to call my office. I want to see if anyone named Fowler's ever been mixed up with Sanderson.
Is that you, Mr. Taylor?
Kindly put up your hand.
Huh?
What are you doing on this boat?
I'm Chief of Police Jenkins.
You haven't answered my question.
Who are you?
That doesn't matter.
Would your name be Sanderson?
Yes.
And you know why I'm here.
Yes, but it isn't going to do you any good.
What do you mean?
I'm about to take a trip down the river. I need a change.
You won't get very far.
I will if I travel alone.
Is that you, Henry?
Yeah.
Come below. We have company.
You undoubtedly know the chief of police.
Yep.
He was nosing around down here. We're going to have to take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Go about and cast off the line first. I would prefer that this happened while we were out in the river. Well, do as I say.
I can't.
Why not?
Because I've got a gun in his back. Drop yours, Sanderson. I pick up his gun, Chief.
Okay, thanks.
My office told me that Fowler was Sanderson's brother-in-law. I dropped by, picked him up, and brought him down here.
Sure glad you did.
Now we can place them both under arrest.
It was proved that although Ed Bartlett was assaulted in the hotel, his death occurred on the boat. Therefore, Sanderson was convicted in federal court for murder on the high seas and sentenced to be executed. Henry and Alice Fowler were convicted as accomplices and given a life prison term in a federal penitentiary. This time, your FBI marked its file not closed, but dead. And it was able to do that only because of the shrewd powers of observation of a special agent who remembered where he had seen an off-shade of paint. Those powers of observation are not a talent that anyone is born with, but they are a talent that can be developed, that has been developed in the course of study that every special agent must pass before he becomes a qualified member of your FBI, before he goes to work for you, the American people. Next week, we will dramatize another case from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Its subject, homicide. Its title, The Astrological Breakout.
The incidents used in tonight's Equitable Life Assurance Society's broadcast are adapted from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of places or persons, living or dead, is accidental. Tonight, the music was composed and conducted by Frederick Steiner. Your narrator was William Woodson, and Special Agent Taylor was played by Stacey Harris. Others in the cast were Herb Butterfield, Lamont Johnson, Bill Johnstone, Mary Ann Cape, Lou Merrill, and Vernon Rich. This Is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production.
I mentioned last half hour, that the Equitable Life Assurance Society sponsored This Is Your FBI for its entire run, from April 6, 1945 to January 30th, 1953, 409 shows. And that's a good long run for an advertiser. Good long run for a show, although the unofficial show, the show The FBI in Peace and War, that show ran longer. It started earlier, and it didn't end until, as my memory serves, 1957 or 1958. This is Your FBI, August 1st, 1952 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank this station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every Monday here on your favorite station. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. You can find our shows anytime on demand at my webpage, classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. You'll also find a list of places where you can download the shows. You can also contact me at classicradio.stream. You can find all of our social media links, and you can find information on building your own Classic Radio collection. And, of course, you can buy me a coffee. If you like our show, if you want to kick in a little bit, what we'll do is we'll put that in a fund to help us buy and acquire new great Classic Radio Theater shows. Thanks. Have a great Monday. Tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.